Hello and welcome to another episode of Empowered Podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Michael Abney, and I'm joined today with
Marilyn Egan.
Hey.
Yay.
We are a podcast about living life more consciously. And so that's always the context of our podcast. And we're fortunate enough today to be joined by our special guest, somebody we tried to get on the podcast last time and we got this time.
Yes.
So glad you were able to be here. And I'll let you introduce Marilyn since.
Donald Lenort.
Yes.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Hello, welcome.
Talk about living consciously. I think he lives more consciously than anybody I know.
Okay. That's saying something. That's saying something.
But it's true. He's going to be modest about it, but it's true. So.
Perfect. Oh, I can't wait to dive in and like hear your perspective. You shared your book with us a couple of weeks ago, and I was in Sedona, and I was able to read a couple of chapters. And last night I read a couple more. I think I finished 4, and it just was like I loved how you like shared your journey about how you woke up, and I have a similar journey. Yours is like seems to be you really dove into it, like the intensity, and I felt that through there, and I was like, wow, this is gonna be a really amazing conversation today. So I'm really, and you love Sai Baba, so I've like obviously, or you wouldn't put the quote ahead of every chapter. So what is the connection with Sai Baba that caused you to do that? Because
my connection with Sai Baba. Once I graduated from PT school at WashU in 1990, and that's kind of when my spiritual journey started. And I got caught up with the Edgar Cayce readings,
yes.
And that gave me a whole lot of, I was looking for answers for healing. I was looking for answers into religion. I had been raised Catholic and things, and so it's like those things kind of both came together really well with Edgar Cayce readings. And then I got connected with a teacher from the School of Metaphysics in St. Louis.
Okay.
And she was teaching out of her home at the time, so I started taking those classes. And that's classes in everything as far as meditation, astral projection, remote viewing, dream interpretation, all kinds of things, right? And so my spiritual life was kind of exploding at that time.
Yeah.
And I got to the point where it was a little overwhelming. There was all these different avenues to explore, and it was like, well, what's the right avenue for me to take? What am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to, what's and the stuff. And so actually I had read in a book, it talked about that if you wanted a guru, which I figured I need a guru. I need somebody who can really help me on my path and tell me what I need to do, and stuff, knows who I am internally, whatever. I'd read in a book and it said, if you pray to God daily with sincerity, right? If you pray daily with sincerity to God to send you a guru, your prayer will be answered in less than a year. And so it's like, I took that and it's like, okay, that's what I need. And so I started to pray daily with sincerity. And about a few months into it, I started to see usually at the end of my meditation is I'd offer this prayer up. And several months into it, I started to see an image of this man. He had a kind of a white beard, kind of a bald head. It was far off into the distance. And I could tell, it's like, oh, that's interesting, and eventually over the months, he came closer and closer and closer. Mm. And so I thought, okay, something's happening here, right? I don't know who this is, but it's happening. It's coming closer. And then I had an experience I had an out-of-body experience in meditation. And I flew to the Himalayas in my out-of-body state, and flew into a mountain, and I met Babaji, right, the great immortal avatar that Paramahansa Yogananda has made very popular, right? So he's there, and he tells me a few things about my life, and then he says, I'm not your guru, but you're going to meet your guru in less than a month. It's like, oh, wow, okay, thank you. And I'm forever grateful for that, because then it was like, okay, now I've got some other validation of what's happening here, And then, of course, in having read a lot of books and things and stuff, I was scheduled to go to Chicago for a zero balancing seminar, which is a type of body work, healing work. by the end of that month, it was a four day seminar. So I'm thinking to myself, oh, so I'm going to meet this strange man somehow miraculously, in Chicago or something. I'll be able to eat, and he'll be like, hey, hi, and stuff. But that never happened. But I had a whole lot of really big opening experiences during that seminar that weekend. Very, very large opening. So I came home. That was a Sunday night. I came home and I went to work that Monday. Monday night, I after work, then I sat down to meditate, and I'd been doing Kriya Yoga, which is spinal breathing, energy up and down the spine.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat to meditate. I did some of the breathing exercises, and then all of a sudden, this energy at the base of my spine, which I kind of describe as being like the size of a fire hose. When you see all that power in a fire hose, and it takes like several guys to hold, that shot up my spine and out my head. And it took me with it, right? I was out of my body. I was now out of my body fully, standing there. And I met a guide. There was a guide there, and he didn't say anything, but he just said, kind of had the motion follow me. So we started walking. We walked across the sands, and then there was like a little sand dune, and he stopped. He motioned for me to go over, and I walked over, and there was Sai Baba. And, he said, I'm your guru. And then told me some other things, too, as far as what was going on there in my life and what to do and things. And that's how I got connected with him. That was in 1995. And just I've never had the call when he was alive to go see him in India, but I've had a lot of dream experiences and meditation experiences. And then he guided me to 2 Western-born gurus here in the United States who helped me out a lot. And so that was how I met him. And it's always interesting stories to see with Sai Baba people to find out how did you get into his fold? How did you meet? Stuff and things. But
it was that I had two faces popped on my computer screen right when computers first started, and I didn't understand what it was. One of them was Sai Baba, the other one was Charles Hanel, like his birthday. He's the guy that wrote Master Key System. He's from St. Louis. And those two are the only people that have appeared on electronics. But that's the one, and then Pat's the one, our friend Pat Jordan. Hey, Pat. She's the one that shared with me about the Vibhuti. And that was like magical to me. And there was just something about his energy that I was just attracted to. I started reading the book. So if memory serves, he knew when he was going to transition, he just transitioned, right? Like it was am I making that up? Or
yes, it was 2014.
Yeah, like he just said,
Something
this
like
is the
that.
date I'm transitioning, and like he did.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but I still sense him. And like, right before the pandemic, he's the one that told me to go see Amma in just to go see Amma in Los Angeles. And I Googled, and she was literally there in 2 weekends. And so I went in November from that, and that was a life-changing experience, like being in that space.
It was confusing for people. He said he was going to use this body or this form until he was 96, and that was short. It's actually this next year would be his 96th year. And so a lot of people have had dream experiences. I've had several of them. There's some of the Nadi prophecies in India, which were written down like 5,000 years ago, talk about him leaving twice, meaning that there's a possibility that people see him returning in that form, kind of raising from the dead, basically, for a short while, and then leaving. And then he comes back again in the third incarnation as Prima Sai Baba. The face that I had seen in my meditations was that of Shirdi Sai Baba, his prior incarnation. So there's 3 incarnations that he's doing at this time of transition for people. And so he came as Shirdi Sai Baba, Sathya Sai Baba, and then the next incarnation will be as Prima Sai Baba, who I'm pretty sure is alive right now, because I've seen him in my dreams as well.
What's the orange?
Wow.
What's the orange one with the? He's younger and the hair's like out to here.
That's Sai Baba. That's
Okay.
Sathya Sai Baba.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. I just find that completely fascinating.
Isn't it? I know. Well, and I didn't know you had that connection, but I knew Donald did for all these years. So it's really interesting that
Yeah.
we've come
I
together
related
here.
a lot to what you were saying, like just how it just was a mirror,
Yeah.
a reflection, and like how you taken those steps. So a lot of those things, I was really scared to move through those spaces. Like, were you just open to it, or was there any resistance in your life as you started to? Because the information you're receiving is so clear and so on point. Like,
Yeah, no, it was more at the time, when I had read some books about biographies of things and stuff, and then experiencing these things, it was like, I want to experience this. I want to know the truth. I want to
Yeah.
see what's possible. If other people have experienced these things, then it's like, I want to see what potential is there to experience and things. And so it was just a matter of kind of moving forward into the truth and experiencing for experiencing's sake, basically.
well, that's kind of why we're here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I've watched Donald for all these years. I mean, we met many, many years ago, but all these years study and study and study. And he's very gifted at taking an entire book of a very complex modality and explaining it to all of us in 2 hours. And he utilizes all this work, weaves it together in how he does his energy work. So I think that's extremely fascinating. But right now, I'm really loving the DNA work, the DNA activations, and the story you have that goes with how you pulled this together. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. So, during the lockdown, it was like I'd been exposed to the DNA activation work many years ago. It's been around for 20 years or so.
Yeah.
But my initial exposure wasn't that good with the people and things like. But during lockdown, I kept getting the synchronicities. It's kept coming out over and over and over. So it's like, okay, I get the point. I need to take a deep dive into this, see what's really going on here. So I did that. Read a lot of books. Listened to some podcasts and YouTube videos and things and stuff. And kind of what I came up with was, there's a lot of transitions occurring at this time, right? We got the Piscean age going into the Aquarian age, right? Every 2,160 years, that big transition occurs. And then, of course, for the whole zodiacal sign there, we go back 26,000 years when that happened. So we got that happening. The Mayan calendar, right? That ended in 2012. That was a 25,000 year cycle. So 23,000 BC to the present, another 2,000 years, right? That cycle ends, and now we're starting a new cycle. There's a prophecy or a cycle built into the Great Pyramid that a lot of people don't know about, right? And that goes from 10,500 BC up to, and that ends in the year 2038. 2038. So that's a 12,500 year cycle. We're 17 years away from. If you take 12,500 years, double it, that's 25,000 years. That's the same as the Mayan calendar, right? So we got all these cycles ending and new cycles beginning. And what these new cycles are supposed to be about, people are talking about ascension and new energies entering the planet. We've had energies entering the planet, a lot of psychics and channelers talking about that for years, And one way to look at that is, the first crop circle appeared like in 1972, right? And then in the 1980s and the 90s, they really exploded, and then they got more and more complex. These are some of the energies that are entering the planet. I kind of think of those as like large electromagnetic raindrops, three-dimensional energies that are entering the planet, and then we get a little two-dimensional image of it, but these are the energies entering the planet. And so they've been there, and they've been going on, and it's like, here's this, actually a 40-year time period of trial. These energies have been entering the planet, and we had the opportunity to choose if we would work with them, right? So a lot of people, started, doing some inner work, and there was, it seemed like in the 80s and 90s there was a new seminar or workshop every weekend. People were exploring and doing things. We had Borders bookstores, and Barnes and Noble had a spirituality section and esoteric wisdom, and then it was on Oprah. So it really came much more into the knowledge of the greater humanity. But it's like, how many people really changed? How much did it really change society, right? And so we've had this 40-year trial and testing period. 40 is a very common number in the Bible, right? We got
40 years.
40 years of, the Israelites moving. Jesus spent 40 days, they reigned for 40 days and 40 nights, So 4 represents overcoming our lower nature. It's a trial and testing period to overcome our lower nature. And then the longer time period is just a more intense thing, right? So overcoming, in one way you can think of it, is it's overcoming our lower 4 chakras, the lower 3 and then the lower part of the heart chakra. And so here we've gone through this trial and testing period in the world, in society, for 40 years. And now the energies several years ago, probably 2015 or so, those energies got to the point where it was, okay, you've been tried, you've been tested, you had the opportunity to choose. Now you don't have the opportunity to choose anymore. Now it's going to happen to you no matter what. So if you're not prepared, it's going to be like the book of Revelation where, now everything is earthquakes and volcanoes and things and all kinds of uplifting, uproar going on in your lives. But we don't have the opportunity. It's going to start changing things that we didn't clear out, that we were supposed to. And so it's coming into the planet, these energies, these new frequencies, and it's coming into us, coming into our bodies. And the way it comes into our bodies is from the crown chakra, and then it's going to work its way down to the lower vibrations. So it came into the upper crown chakra, the cerebral chakras, probably like in 2015 or so. And so that really relates to our thoughts, right? Creation of our thoughts and looking at what are we doing with our thoughts? What has been underground that we haven't been thinking about, haven't been paying attention to, right? So what happened in the world? Well, we got Black Lives Matter movement, the Me Too movement. We had looking at police brutality. We've got looking at the Confederacy. How do you look at those symbols and things like that and stuff? So we got all these things about, these things were going on, but it's like now they're going to be in your face because you really have to address them, right? In regards to how you think about these things, right? And then, so that was, 2015 or so. Then around late 2018, 2019, well, and then of course, then it goes down into the throat and talking about those things, people becoming empowered in their voice and saying what they need to do. Then it come down deeper, and around 2019, it entered into the heart, right into the heart chakra, right? So everything, all the karmas that you haven't cleared out, all the issues that you haven't cleared out are going to get cleared out of there. And so what happens? We have a pandemic, right? What does COVID affect? Affects the heart and the lungs first. It certainly can affect the whole body, but that was the respiratory system that was the main factor.
That's the one that kill you.
And then, of course, it affects the world now, the entire world population, right? So it's like some karmic things, some issues you can clear out energetically and they get released. Other things you have to clear out through the body because it has to come all the way through and manifest from, the higher levels through the body and out. And so we have COVID and we have all kinds of variation in that as far as how people get sick and things and what's going on there. And so I think the lesson there is, what's the lesson for the heart chakra? It's like we're all one people on one planet, right? Right. It doesn't matter race, color, religion, doesn't matter borders, right? What COVID taught us is that we're all affected equally. Obviously, some things came up showing how, with the healthcare and things and stuff, people aren't affected equally, right? And it's like those things need to be addressed. And it's like that's coming up, But as far as that goes, it's like we're all one people on one planet, right? And that's what's going on there. And so that was 2019. And then just really probably a month or so ago, I felt the energy start to go a little deeper. It started going down past the respiratory diaphragm, and now it's working its way down into the solar plexus. Right. And so now we're going to have solar plexus stuff coming up individually, but also, collectively. And so the solar plexus usually think of, when we're coming up the chakras, like, well, this is self-empowerment. This is, getting your own power, right, as an individual. But that's selfish or self-centered, right? And so the opposite of that would be, well, if we recognize that we are one people on one planet, then it's a matter of, okay, how do we serve others? Right? Instead of being selfish, self-centered, how do we serve? Mm-hmm. And so it's a matter of, okay, once you have enough, now how can you serve others? And certainly we should have learned, we can learn that too as far as like with the COVID, if we don't help other countries, it's just going to keep going around the world. And look at what happened with the Delta variant that came from India, right? And so as it was freely circulating there, it became more infectious, more virulent, right? And so it's like we got to help these other countries in that. And so it's a matter of time to start clearing out solar plexus chakra stuff for ourselves, and then also, as a society, in politics, business, religion, everything, as far as like all this stuff that has been all self-centered in the past is now going to come up into our faces and then be shown. It's like, okay, here, you need to look at this stuff now and start to change this stuff.
Fascinating perspective. Like
yes.
Yes. I just want to stand up and applaud.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, where do you, because it also activated hate. I think it's clearing hate. But in what you said, through the body.
Yeah.
Not just, but it's got to come through. Where do you see, how does that affect, why are people so hateful? Why is that activated and made people just screw logic, screw screw what I'm seeing, and not even be able to literally in your face tell you, I don't believe X when X is what do you do?
It's the resistance, right? We all resist change, and it's that resistance of pushing back because we don't want change. And so the way things have been, as soon as you start to push on them, as soon as you start to change and the whole vibrational thing is going on, it starts to push back. And so that's what we're seeing. And so the old analogy of, when a crop comes up and it's growing fully and it's ready for harvest, well, that's all the time when the weeds are the highest. And you can see them, you can grab them, you can pull them out by the roots, right? And so what we got going on right now is with the harvest, the weeds are also coming up. So we can see everything that we haven't acknowledged or was we were allowing to just kind of live underneath, it's like, oh yeah, that happens, but let's not pay attention to that, right? Now it's it's so obvious it's coming up now we have to change it.
So if that's also coming from within us, are we dealing with clearing the ego?
All our issues are going to come up as well,
and
be magnified, and so that we can see them clearly. Look in your dreams. Your dreams are going to manifest that and show you what you need to work on and what needs to get cleared.
Yeah. So as ego balances, I don't know that it will move out. What do you see? Do you see it moving out, or do you see it being calm and peaceful and being of service to us in some way?
I see the ego as two things. There's the real ego, which is the deepest level of mind, which is the separation from spirit. So it's that feeling of separation, right?
Yeah.
That's at the deep soul level, right? That's the real ego. And then you got the lower personality ego, which can undergo change and things like that. But
okay.
So yeah.
So part of it's going to go aside, and the other part's going to become more of service to us so that we can do our work on the earth?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And so along with that, there is, this comes from the Cryon material, but he talked about how in the past, the pituitary gland, which relate to the third eye, the pituitary, the hypothalamus, that's been called the master gland because it controls so many endocrine functions of the body. Mm-hmm. That now is going backwards, and it's going to go into the pineal gland.
Yeah.
And so the pineal gland is going to be the new master gland of the new race. And the pineal gland, of course, relates to the crown chakra. So spirit is going to be in charge of our bodies as opposed to us being in charge of our bodies or our brain, right? And so this is coming down. That spiritual energy is coming down. Our higher selves, you're sending up, if we're talking about it, whatever, ascension, coming up into more of, a soul connection and expressing that through the body.
Nice.
When you were stating those timelines, I was like, where was I at in 2015? Where was I at? I had literally 2014, the last 4 months of it, I had been sick for a couple of years and didn't really know what was going on. I found I was diagnosed with HIV, and that was the flat line point of my entire life. I lost everything. I had no insurance. I had no money for 6 months. It was all that, and didn't start rebounding until 2015. Mm-hmm. So when you were saying that
do you know what we were doing in 2015, this exact time? That's when you helped me with the Peace Place. It was 6 years ago now. It was 2015, October of 2015 that we closed on the Peace Place. And then you jumped in and
I said
started
2015.
channeling
Yeah, you're right.
Abraham.
Yeah. It was 2014 is when I found out. And then 2015, the beginning of 2015.
Is when you started to heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the real estate thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And then now I'm getting the most powerful thing is like I'm committed to being a ninja neutral. Like just being neutral, being the space of neutral, so that whatever's going on with folks, they just pause and can see it instead of being in that reactory state. So that tied into what you just said about that coming back down to be re-realized or reimagined on Earth. Like,
okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, going then down into the solar plexus, it's kind of like, okay, so what's going to happen there then? Or it's like, the solar plexus is, we talk about 70 to 80% of our immune system is in our solar plexus and in our intestines. So as this comes down, now we might see it possibly ramifications of COVID worldwide. How's this going to affect people worldwide? Well, maybe the ramifications of COVID affecting the immune system is people are going to start having all kinds of digestive issues coming up, all kinds of digestive problems coming up because now the immune system and the digestive system is going on there. That can affect the kidneys, the liver, the back, that's as far as the karma expressing through the body. I also kind of get a feeling of that, there's a connection there with our nervous system as far as being the gut brain. And so some kind of nervous system problems coming up arising as well.
The toxicity, like we'd have to, if you're really going to get to the root of that, you got to deal with what the toxicity going in, like, and the whole system that we have to nourish ourselves in. Yeah. Wow.
I'm seeing some of that already in my clients. But I'm also really heavily drawn to working with vagus nerve, the parasympathetic system, to bring balance into all of this. And the gut, the part of vagus nerve that is in the gut.
Lost my train of thought there.
What is the vagus nerve for you? Like, what does it do in your healing process? Yeah, in your healing process. When you said that, like...
Vagus nerve is a big part of what we call the parasympathetic nervous system.
That's the one here?
It's a cranial nerve. Vagus nerve is a cranial nerve. It starts in the brainstem and comes down through the neck and the throat. And it's in your face also.
It supplies all of your internal organs.
Yeah.
And it's the connection between your brain and your organs, and then your organs communicating back to your brain.
And it has evolved over time. It has changed from ancient times, but it wants homeostasis in your system. It wants you to be calm and peaceful, and everything work together is really what it's about, is calming that fight or flight. It's the counterbalance to the fight or flight.
Getting out of survival.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So getting back now, remember the DNA activation, right?
Yes.
This is what it's all about as far as, and this kind of comes from a lot of the Cryon work, but other people's work. And he talks about, for thousands and thousands of years, most of humanity has been functioning like at a 33% expression of their DNA, right? It's been very limited. So it's like, well, most of humanity is there. And so as we move into this new human, it's going to start to expand. Well, that's most of humanity, not all of humanity, right? There's been a lot of people that have expressed greater proportions of their DNA in the past, and we call these saints, sages, mystics, advanced yogis, these people that could seemingly do things that are beyond normal physics and whatnot, and live longer and heal and know things and be connected to spirit in such a way. And so the whole of humanity is going through by activating this DNA, which is occurring naturally through the energies that are coming in. And then if we can assist that, ride that like a wave, we can clear out our own stuff, and this helps in that. And what I found is that also, in researching, is that because it's the new energies, frequencies entering the planet, entering us, it's like vibrations really help with this. So vocal toning, tuning forks, crystal bowls, singing bowls, gongs, all kinds of vibroacoustic things help in clearing out these old vibrations, bringing in the new vibrations so that this DNA can get activated. Another way that we know that with DNA activation is like people that have had spontaneous remissions in the past, right? It's like they have an incurable disease, and all of a sudden something happens in their consciousness, and for a short while, their DNA gets activated to a much higher extent, and its natural ability to heal, which is what we're supposed to all have, kicks in, and oh man, the disease is gone. I go back to. I think this occurred like 22,000 years ago, back in that timeline. Noah, for Bible people, when he heard the voice of God say, "Hey, there's a flood coming up," he was 500 years old, right? And it took him 50 years to build the ark, and then he lived another 400 years after that. And all his ancestors had lived that long also. But then after that flood occurred across the whole planet, a little while later, all of a sudden, I think that's when the DNA got kind of deactivated and the lifespan shortened, and we've been kind of dealing with that, living with that now for a while. And so it kind of getting back to, what is the actual, length of time we can live and be productive. There's always stories about, yogis in the Himalayas that are like 250 years old. And people go, oh, that's just the stories and that's just mythology. Well, or is it? Are they actually that old?
Right.
Is that more of what is natural when we're connected to spirit and we can live that long? We're just so used to, people getting sick and dying at 75 or something.
Well, because the way we practice life right now with the 40-hour work week and the feeling like a slave to your job until you can retire, then
Go sit
we
and
can't
die.
live. We can't live that long living that way.
And toxicity,
right?
we got toxic water, we got toxic food,
Yes.
we got toxic air, we got everything is toxic, and so it's like our DNA has to kick back on so these things aren't going to affect us anymore, so that its
Right.
natural ability to reproduce and keep us healthy and take care of diseases is better.
Right. Yeah.
It's the only answer.
And then we'll live connected and we'll be living out our passions. We'll be working in ways that doesn't feel like work, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it feels to me.
Do you see into other folks' energy fields? Like,
Yeah.
do you can see like, okay, they're clicking here. Do you like deal with levels of consciousness like Hawkins?
Yeah, I'm aware of his work. Yeah, I've done readings from the Akashic Records since '94.
Wow.
So yeah,
I've been in a mastermind for about a year and a half now, and it's all based off of his work. His name is Matthew Ferry, and he was one of his proteges, he was his protege, and after he passed, his work transferred over to him. So I'm in the mastermind. That's all we do is consciously raise the level of our vibration in a group of people. And like when you're talking, even though you're not saying that, like I'm feeling that. Like that same sort of process, and where I know where I was at the beginning of it and where I'm at now, and how it's just a different experience of life. It's like the world can be falling around me, and I'm like, I'm not scared. I've faced really deep fears in this space. Once you understand like what happens on the other side of facing a fear, makes you want to run to all of them and go, come on, like, let's go. Like, let's go. So like when you're talking, that brings that sense of that feeling up. Like, so what do you see like that's next for us as humanity?
I think just that we're moving into the new, with these old cycles are ending, we're coming into a new cycle. Now, how fast that's going to occur? Is that going to occur in our lifetime, next 100 years, or next 250, whatever, something. So if all of a sudden everyone starts to wake up, their DNA starts to wake up, and we have, all of these great saints and sages on the planet, it's going to be much different, and it's always predicted that there was be 1,000 years of peace coming, and so it's like all those people that aren't in that alignment are probably going to leave the planet. There's the guy, is it Michael Newton? Is it the Life Between Lives or the Future? Yeah, I think so. He's the hypnotherapist.
Oh, Weiss? No?
No, I think it's Michael Newton. And,
Is it
and he took a whole bunch of people and hypnotized them. And he does also like future life progressions. He'll take them into a future life and to get information about their present life. And then unknown to them, he started to take everyone like into the same dates, certain dates in the future to say, what do you see? Are you alive? Are you not alive? Can you see what's going on the planet? And they all came back and said this like the same thing. It's like in the very near future, there's a lot less population on the planet. A lot of people have left. And,
Do you think that's because, this is a great question. I'm just going to ask you. So I have guides too. They show me it's like it's a dimensional thing. And some people are going to stay on this earth plane and still keep working out their 3D stuff. But there's just not an option. Like the people that are ready to switch over into the new earth, it's this earth, but it's a dimensional thing. I don't really understand it physically, but energetically, it's completely separate.
Yeah, or where they'll be here, and those people that can't,
and they wouldn't see us.
We're just like we're going from we got like a 4-dimensional Earth right now, right? We got 3 dimensions of space and 1 of time. And then we're moving into the 5th dimension, which is multi-dimensional, which is more of our multi-dimensional nature. So you can experience things multi-dimensionally, interdimensionally, and go from there. Yeah, and so those people I think that aren't ready for that experience on the planet, which is what the planet's getting raised for, those might be the ones that are leaving.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
And we'll stick around for another 800 years.
Well, if disease doesn't live and where
right.
our body doesn't age anymore.
I know whatever it is all perfect. I just want to put that in.
It is. It's in divine order.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is in divine order.
I refuse to think anything's wrong.
Yeah.
But that can be scary for somebody listening that may not have multiple awarenesses of whatever, or wherever they're at. Just it's all
everybody's
perfect.
okay exactly where they are.
We're all expressions of the same exact thing. There is no separation, so
yeah.
We're just not going to live in that.
Do what's in front of you to do, do what's in front of you to do and what's coming up and yeah.
Well, what can we do to soothe, or like when you said toning, we talked a little bit about that at the beginning, probably before we started recording, but like share a little bit about that and maybe give an example of that as we kind of close out for today. And I just want to say, you got to come back again, seriously, because there's just so much value here. Like, I just want to keep continuing to have this conversation, but like for now, I found
vibration. Vibration is a really powerful tool. And so vocal toning, which is basically using the vowel sounds, and this comes from the work of Jonathan Goldman, who's the sound pioneer, relating the different vowel sounds to the different chakras. It's a good way to energize your chakra and to clear out whatever is, whatever no longer serves you.
Okay.
How are you doing in time? What do we got to do?
We got plenty. Just do. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do. Let me see here. Let's do the shorter version of it.
The shorter version. Okay. So what I'm going to do, and we might have to watch the volume here. I'll do a tone for each chakra. We're going to start at the crown chakra, and the intent is to energize that and clear out. And then having opened the crown, we'll move down through the other chakras into the body. And then when I get through with all those, what I'll do is I'll do a couple then of it's a combination of moving through from the top down to the bottom up after that. Okay.
Floor is yours.
So if you're listening at home, just kind of open up, just to feel the vibration, open up to spirit coming into that. We'll start at the crown. Third eye. solar plexus. Sacral. Root. Now to integrate them, I'll go from top to bottom, back up to the top.
Thank you.
I feel totally cleared out.
Yeah. It was powerful.
Good thing we didn't do it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Just sat here
We,
in silence.
yeah, totally.
Good for a radio
And
program.
that would have been a powerful podcast too. Just saying. But thank you so much for being here. Really, really, really huge blessing for all of us.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And he will
yeah.
be back.
Absolutely.
And he's at the Peace Place occasionally too.
Yes, absolutely. Gotta have that visit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're going to go get ourselves together. Thank you guys so much for listening. Really, really appreciate it. I know you got value out of today. And just want to say thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
And
Donald.
look forward to the next one. We love you guys. Thanks for listening. We will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.